Yo, what's up? My name is Patrouski, and today I'm going to show you guys around 5 tips to save Pokeyen in PokeMMO. These tips should be relevant no matter what level of player, whether you're early game, middle game, late game, etc. And they're things that you can kind of just do naturally while playing the game. You don't really have to go out of your way to achieve these. If any of these tips help you today, make sure to like the video and subscribe to see more like it. But let's go ahead and jump into our first entry. Tip number 1 is to buy middle evolution Pokemon. Whenever you're buying Pokemon to breed or whatever you need good IV Pokemon for, everybody should need some good IV Pokemon for making more Pokeyen or playing PvP or PVM, etc. You might want to check out the middle evolution stage Pokemon if the Pokemon you're buying has a middle stage evolution. It's really easy to forget about the middle stage evolution when searching to buy a Pokemon. It's kind of like the middle child, unfortunately. So today we're going to look up, let's do Garchomp, for example. So we're going to go ahead and check. We're going to go over to our PC. We're going to look for a Gible / Garchomp / Gabite with 20 plus in the HPs and defenses. This will be a really good start to a breed. So if we look for these stats, sort by cheapest, and find a Gible, we can find one for 10k. That's not a bad starting price at all. If we check Garchomp next, okay, 15k. It's a higher level Pokemon. It makes sense. What about Gabite? And then bam, boom, 6k. It is actually 4k cheaper, which saves you a fair amount of Pokeyen significantly, in my opinion. You can even see 9k for 1 times 31 there, which is probably much cheaper than any Gible you're gonna find with a 1 times 31. That's a really good example. Let's keep testing on different Pokemon. Let's go ahead and check for Squirtle. So for Squirtle, okay, well, one was just now listed for cheap. We're gonna go ahead and buy that. It's funny. But so here we see 20 plus in HP defense and special defense. 9k is the cheapest. There's no 1 times 31s, no other stats, anything like that, right? Listed for 6 hours, 1 day, around 10k, pretty average, right? What about Blastoise for 1 times 31? Right? Blastoise, same thing, around 9k, and the next one's going to have a 1 times 31 is going to be 20k. What if we were to search Wartortle? People always forget to search the middle evolution. We see one for 8k, around the same price as the Squirtle, but this one has a 1 times 31 in defense. This one's actually so significantly good that I'm probably going to go ahead and pick it up hilariously because it had almost every single stat that you need except for special attack on a Blastoise. So once again, checking for middle evolution Pokemon, just try it. It's a really quick and easy way to save some Pokeyen. A lot of people don't check for those. Some other examples could be Dratini, Dragonair, and Dragonite. Make sure to check for Dragonair. Really, any Pokemon that has 3-stage evolutions, just double check the middle evo before picking up a purchase. Tip number 2 to save some money in PokeMMO is to breed your own breeders. Sometimes this can just save you significant amounts of money, and I want to show you what I mean. Now, it's not always worth the time because when you breed your own breeders, you are spending a little bit more time on a breed, but sometimes getting a specific breeder can be ludicrously expensive. I'm going to revert back to Gible on this one since it's one of the most desired Pokemon in all of PokeMMO. So here we can see just a 1 times 31 speed Gible, just 1 times 31 is 30k Pokeyen. However, a Gible with no stats is going to cost you 1 to 2k. That's a pretty drastic difference. So on one hand, you could pay 30,000 Pokeyen for a 1 times 31 speed Gible, or you could buy a super cheap Gible. Here, we'll actually look for extra stats and see if we can make it a little bit better. Remember, keep in mind that one Ditto, actually, we'll keep it simple. Keep in mind that one Ditto would have been 30k. I'm going to bring up my, my handy Windows calculator. We're going to do 1500. So the other Ditto to pay for a 1 times 31 would have been 30k. This one is going to start at 1500 cost. So now instead of paying 30k for a 1 times 31 speed Gible, I have this one that is 25 plus attack. We're now going to look for a Ditto with 31 speed and 25 plus attack. This one's going to be perfect. It can even randomly roll up our special defense and our HP and possibly get us some more stats. So we just paid 7k per that Ditto, and we're also going to have to pay 10k for 1 speed brace. So as you can see, I'm going to end up paying 18,500 Pokeyen here for this breed, which is pretty freaking low, right? Especially comparatively to that 30k one. I'm saving 12k Pokeyen here just by doing one extra breed myself, as opposed to speeding up the process and getting that other 1 times 31 speed Gible. This is a really simple example, but stuff like this happens a lot, and to even higher degrees of Pokeyen variance in the later stages of breeding a Pokemon. You could even use stuff like this, obviously, to just make Pokeyen. This is a really, really solid strategy to just make Pokeyen, filling in these gaps in the market when they exist and breeding breeders for other people. The third thing you can do to save some Pokeyen and PokeMMO is by buying your own breeding braces with BP. So we're going to be heading over to Hoenn, we're going to head over to the Battle Frontier, then we're going to head into this building just north of the PC, and I believe this Pokemart person right here, you can actually go to her and spend BP on breeding braces. So the breeding braces sell for 750 BP, and that's really good because generally 1 BP is worth around 10 Pokeyen. So if you're only buying them for 750 BP, you're actually only spending 7.5k on breeding braces versus 10k Pokeyen if you were to actually buy them from the breeding shops, which is a really significant difference. You're saving 2 to 3k Pokeyen per breeding brace. That's a really big deal. The reason why 1 BP is worth around 10 Pokeyen is because generally the metric is choice items. If you're paying 9,800 BP for 1 choice item and they sell for around 100k a piece, which is pretty consistent in what they sell for around at the moment, they can kind of fluctuate a little bit between 95 to 110 to sometimes 120 during big events, but usually around 100k is pretty fair. So if we take 100k on our trusty calculator, take that and divide that by 9,800 BP, if I could just click correctly, then we end up with a number about 10.2 Pokeyen per 1 BP, which is why, once again, you save a lot of money buying the braces with BP. Now, tip number 4 might be the most important one on this list in my personal opinion. Tip number 4 is to be willing to spend money to save time. Time is money. One of the most important examples of this is XP charm. If you were to shill out the Pokeyen, for an XP charm that gives you a 100% boost when XP training, you are literally saving yourself. If you're XP training Pokemon, if you need to XP train Pokemon for the entire 1 hour, you're saving yourself 1 hour of time for 55k Pokeyen. For most people, that's significantly worth it, especially when there are Pokeyen making methods that make, 300,000, 400,000 Pokeyen per hour at endgame. Showing out a little bit of that to save a full hour of time is just ridiculous. XP charms become unbelievably worth it once you're making any amount of money. Even if you're making 100k Pokeyen per hour on average at your beginner or medium level money making methods, it's still worth it. You're still saving 30 minutes then. Don't be scared to spend money to make money in PokeMMO. I think it's super, super important. And even if you're spending money and losing it to learn about a specific system, this is often the case with breeding. A lot of people just have to understand that they are going to lose some money in the short term to learn breeding in PokeMMO to be able to make money in the long run. Tip number 4 could obviously be exacerbated to a bunch of different things, whether that's buying XP candies or buying potions to be able to rush through the storylines to get through them a little bit faster, whether it's just buying a competitive Pokemon outright so you don't have to breed it yourself. That can depend, once again, based on how much Pokeyen you make per hour. A lot of this is based off of how much your time is worth, and you have to come to your own conclusion on that for sure. Now, I do have a quick honorable mention tip before getting into tip number 5, and the honorable mention is going to be to make sure you get a Meowth and use Payday Pickup during your storylines. If you're a new player, making sure to Payday Pickup through your storylines is a really nice way to pick up some extra potions, pick up some silk scarfs, some really neat items along the way, and just make a little bit of extra Pokeyen every single battle. Payday is a stab move for Meowth, which allows him to pick up some Pokeyen based on the Pokemon's level. So if you Payday a level 20 Pokemon against a trainer, you pick up 200 Pokeyen by the end of that. If you do that 5 times in 5 different battles, which is really easy to do with it, you're probably doing, 10 or something battles per route, maybe 10 to 15, depending on how many wild encounters you do. Yeah, you're easily picking up, assuming you're making around 250 Pokeyen per battle, you're easily picking up an extra 3 to 4k, maybe 5k Pokeyen per route when doing the storyline, which really adds up. When there's 20 or so routes in a Pokemon storyline, if you're making an extra 3k on each of them, well, now you've made an extra 60k within a storyline, which is really significant when usually when you beat a storyline, you make around 100k, maybe 200k throughout an entire storyline. You're literally 1.5 times in your income from beating a storyline. Meowth can also just be a pretty powerful Pokemon in the early game with Fake Out into Payday, but definitely falls off a lot later you get into the game. Next up, tip number 6, we're going to be heading to the left of Oplucid City in Unova. This is a really simple one. Make sure to not be lazy. Don't buy many items off the GTL if you can buy them from the Unova shopping mall. The Unova shopping mall, in my opinion, is one of the most important places to unlock. You can get a bunch of different items here, expert lures, Pokeballs, Ultra Balls. One of the most important ones is all the different types of specific Pokeballs, the Dusk Balls, the Net Balls, the Timer Balls. A lot of these will be more expensive on the GTL. Sometimes they are cheaper, actually, so it's really important to go check, like, hey, do I need to buy some Great Balls? How much are they selling for? Like, these are overpriced. Sometimes you can actually find Premier Balls for cheaper because they have the same effect as a Great Ball at 1.5 times catch rate. So if you ever see Premier Balls, kind of another extra tip, but if you ever see Premier Balls under 600 Pokeyen and you actively use Great Balls to some extent, it's kind of worth to pick them up. A lot of times these balls are overlisted, so you can see 1300 Pokeyen versus 1200. A lot of new players don't know where to get these items, so they just buy them off the GTL as opposed to actually going to the correct shops. Another big one is TMs. Buying your TMs from the shop correctly is super, super important. If something like what's a good example here? A Protect TM is 20k, and this one depends. Sometimes it's better to buy from the shopping mall, sometimes it's better to buy from the GTL, so you just want to go ahead and double check. Like, if a Protect TM is 20k, I believe. What was it at the shopping mall? We can actually just check. Yeah, it's about the same price. You save 500 Pokeyen, which isn't that much, but it's a little bit from buying it from the shop. But there's some other TMs, like I think Dragon Claw is a really cheap one right now, where if you come to the shopping mall and buy Dragon Claw, it's going to cost you 25k, but it's only 4k if you buy it on the GTL, because this item was brought into the game a ton from sealed product from specific events. So always check whether it's cheaper to buy a specific TM from the actual store or on the GTL. You can usually just check on the GTL itself, like I kind of just showed, because let's do this. You can see the price. See how it says 25k on Toxic? That's what the store will sell it for, and it's 26k here. So you'd want to buy Toxic at the Unova shopping mall. Well, that's the last of my quick tips today. If you think I missed anything super important, obviously let me know in the comments. There's always more to cover with stuff like this. Hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully it taught you something or just reminded you about something. Like the video if you enjoyed it. That helps out tremendously. Dislike it if not, that's okay. Subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO videos. Follow the Discord down below if you want to join a really cool big community. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitch for streams Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. And if you want to go above and beyond and support the channel, YouTube memberships, Twitch Prime, Twitch subs, and PayPal/Venmo allow this channel to function. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Enjoy PokeMMO for another day. Hey, thanks so much for watching the entire video all the way to the end. I really appreciate that, and I hope it was a positive asset to your day. And I also want to quickly say extra thank you to everybody whose name is on this list and goes above and beyond and allows me to do what I do. Thank you very much. Have a good one.